I finally got motivated to get this thing running. So here's where we're at. Basically, I'm just doing the things you do to get something running that's been sitting a while. So I pulled the spark plugs out. They're just in finger tight right now. See, they're actually pretty decent. I put automatic trans fluid in all the cylinders. That's what I've had the best luck with, actually unseizing motors. But this motor's not seized. But still, I thought it would just be good to lubricate the cylinder so I don't break a ring when I start it or something. And the thing's actually free. There we go. See it turn the whole motor over. Took the radiator out, because if you remember from the video where I got it, this was the reason the guy sold it. Was he decided to get it running one day, and then he determined it had no brakes after he crashed in with another truck on his property. So it punched a hole through this nice copper brass radiator, did that front end damage. In order to get the radiator out, we had to do some body work. Caving in was actually pushing the radiator into the fan. The one blade's still kind of bent, but I'll worry about that later. But yeah, we couldn't even get it out. It was all sandwiched in. So we tried cranking it, and it didn't really crank over that well. Try it again. Ready? Yep. Better. The starter was actually seized. We took it off and kind of messed with it. You can see it has an old rebuild label on it. But it still just kind of cranked over really slow. So I just ordered a new starter off of Amazon. Believe it or not, they have it. It was probably a little more than getting it rebuilt, but it came right to me. I'd have to run into town and, you know, drop it off, wait a week, pick it up again, all that. But these battery cables are also complete garbage. So I'm going to change that before I even attempt to do anything else. That wasn't the reason it wasn't starting though, because I put the booster right on the starter. And it still cranked like super slow, even with the spark plugs out. Here's my new direct from China starter for a 1950s Ford. How much sense does that make? Yeah, it's a goofy starter. There it is, all fancy and new. Here it is out of the box in all its glory. So this is, I've seen a few old starters like this, especially on Fords. Instead of the gear kicking out this way, the gear hangs off the back, and when it spins, it actually goes in. So it's weird. And like all older Fords, the solenoid is not on the starter; it's remote. So there's just a battery hot, and that's it. You can keep going.
The ignition's very touchy.
Yeah?
Touch the key.
Things are looking up. First it turns over by hand, then it has spark. It's hard to see on camera, but it's actually sparking. This is actually looking pretty good.
Ready?
Yeah, that should be good. It's probably gonna be really excessive.
Just a little bit.
Yep, that was excessive. Okay.
Starting to look.
go.
I think it was running off its own.
Is there any more gas in the carb or no?
I dumped a little bit.
Now there's more starting fluid in the carb.
Ready?
Yep. Nah, it's just running off the carb. So I saw it was getting fuel because it was leaking out of the fuel line here. So I popped the bowl off the carburetor expecting a disaster. And it's like freaking beautiful inside. How does that happen?
It actually runs, huh?
Well, it runs surprisingly well, actually. So I guess next I will rebuild the carburetor, change the oil, tune up things. Because when I pulled the spark plug wires off, I didn't even need to like mark where they were because they just kind of stay put. Every one of them just kind of fell right into the spot where the spark plug was. So it's easy to remember the firing order. And then as long as the motor's running good, then I need to get to the brakes because that's how it got that. So, gotta change the master cylinder, pull the wheels, which should be an adventure. Wheel cylinders, brake lines, brake hoses, and go from there. But yeah, actually did something with the vehicle that's sitting here for once. Well, it runs surprisingly well, actually. So I guess next I will rebuild the carburetor, change the oil, tune up things. Because when I pulled the spark plug wires off, I didn't even need to like mark where they were because they just kind of stay put. Every one of them just kind of fell right into the spot where the spark plug was. So it's easy to remember the firing order. And then as long as the motor's running good, then I need to get to the brakes because that's how it got that. So, gotta change the master cylinder, pull the wheels, which should be an adventure. Wheel cylinders, brake lines, brake hoses, and go from there. But yeah, actually accomplished something on it. So it runs. That's the first step.